Hello dear friends of the bass and welcome to my basement. I'm Toby and this is the Harley Benton MB-5 SB. This is one of the cheapest 5 strings you can get. And of course I'm going to take it apart. But before I do that, let me tell you a few things about this bass. Although this is a pretty cheap bass and you can see that in many aspects of it, there are some things that are really good on this bass. The first thing and probably the most important thing on a 5 string is the B string. As you could hear in the intro, it has a pretty good B string. It has a lot of low end and is nicely balanced with the other strings. The next thing I like about this bass is the weight. This weighs around 4.1, 4.2 kilos, which is not super heavy for a 5 string. It's rather light. And what I also like about this bass is the feel of the neck. We have no sharp fret ends on this particular bass and it plays really nice. It's a bit of a chunkier neck profile, but it's not bad. Also on the back of the neck we have quite a nice wood grain. It's a little bit of flame in there and darker maple. It almost looks a little bit roasted. Now let's get to the things I don't like that much on this bass. First, the tuners. These are cheap open gear tuners. They work okay now. When I first got this bass, they were pretty gritty when turning them. I put a bit of loop on the gears. Now it's better, but these are no great tuners and they are also probably quite heavy, which gives the bass a little bit of neck dive. It's not too bad, but it's there. Then the strings. The stock strings on this bass were really terrible. I was about to send this bass back because I thought there's something terribly wrong with the pickup or something, because most of the strings had different volume levels and significantly different volume levels. Then I tried some decent strings and the problems were gone. So if you think about trying this bass, you should get a set of decent strings with it. If we move down to the body, we have a quite nice fitting neck pocket, I think. We don't have the usual plastic washer because we don't have a neck plate. We have this 6 single screw attachment and nothing else on the back of the body. We turn it back around, we get to the pickguard where you can see that it's warping and not lying flat on the body. Either the pickguard was already warped when they put it on, or the holes on the body and the pickguard don't really match up, so that puts a bit of tension on the pickguard and then it starts to warp. The next thing is the pickup. That thing looks really cheap. We have protruding pole pieces, which I've never seen on a Music Man style pickup, and they are not even and some of them are slanted a bit. Well, on a bass this cheap, they can probably spend about $1 or $2 on the pickup in production, and this looks exactly like a $1 or $2 pickup. The bridge is a pretty simple Music Man style 5 string bridge. Probably it's about the same as on a Sterling Ray 5, because we also have a pretty tight string spacing of 16 millimeters, which is too tight for my taste. And if you look at the neck, you can see that the distance between the edge of the fingerboard and the outer string increases when we go up the neck. So we could have a wider string spacing on this bass, but we would need a different bridge for that. And we would also need probably a different pickup, because if we push the strings out a bit and widen the string spacing, the strings won't align with the pole pieces anymore, and then probably we'll have some issues with the volume levels of the strings again. Finally, we have the electronics. This is like on the old OLP basses. We have 3 controls: volume, volume, tone, all passive. Now you might think, 2 volume controls for one pickup. Yeah, you can control each of both coils separately, which I think is just a way to get 3 knobs that the thing looks right, because it doesn't make that much sense. There is a slight difference in tone between the 2 coils. The bridge coil is a little bit brighter, but that's maybe just my imagination. So these electronics don't make that much sense. So that's as much as I can tell about this bass without taking it apart. Maybe I'll uncover some more interesting things when I take it apart. So let's go. There are no real surprises when taking this bass apart. One thing I'd like to mention is the neck pocket. It's done quite nicely and obviously after finishing. So they take a lot of care to get a properly fitting neck, and I think at this point they've got their priorities right. Other than that, you can tell that this is a pretty inexpensive instrument. There's little paint and wood chips underneath the pickguard and underneath the bridge. But I think that's mainly a cosmetical thing. You wouldn't take the pickguard off unless you would replace it with another pickguard, and then the bad spots underneath will be hidden again. There is one thing I found that is a bit curious, and that's the screw pattern of the neck attachment, because that is off the center line of the neck. So my theory is that they probably designed the 4-string version first and then modified that into the 5-string version and simply forgot to realign the screw holes with the new center line or something like that. I think this is rather a cosmetical thing, because I don't think there's any problem with the stability of this neck attachment. So it just looks a bit weird once you've seen it. Overall, I think this is a quite nice bass for very little money. You get a working 5-string, and especially if you're looking into trying out this 5-string thing, or if you need a 5-string for just one project and you can't spend that much money on it, this bass could be something for you. Remember to buy a decent set of strings with it. After I took the bass apart, I didn't immediately put it back together, but I did some modifications to it. And this time, let's say I went a bit crazy with the parts I bought for it. I captured it on video, so there will be a second video on this bass. But for today, that's it on the Harley Benton MB-5 SB 5-string bass. If you have any questions left on this bass, feel free to ask them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If so, please hit that like button. Thank you for watching and see you the next time.